Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This may be the worst character select screen I have ever seen in a video game. Look, I am very excited for Mario Kart World's roster, and I think it's the most fun roster we've ever seen for a Mario Kart game. But good God, man. Every time I look at this UI, I hate it even more. Let's start with the obvious glaring issue. Why is there more than a single page of characters here? I'd be annoyed if there were 2 screens to bounce between, but 13? That implies up to 156 character slots, which yes, is huge, but don't get too excited because we have to consider the other glaring issue. The costumes. I know I may not be popular in saying this, but I personally do not like the costumes at all. I don't care about them. I've never liked this kind of thing. It feels very mobile gamey and directly is mobile gamey. This came straight out of Mario Kart Tour, a phone game version of Mario Kart that I never played more than 5 minutes of for multiple reasons, but one being because of how annoying the character system is. They added a lot of cool original characters to it, but it was just completely drowned in clutter. As it is in this game, it's whatever. I have plenty of new wacko characters to enjoy, so my hatred is being contained.
But the way you're shoving them down my throat is making it real hard, Nintendo.
Because these alternate costumes, they aren't grouped under a convenient tab attached to their base character like was done before. They take up entire slots on the menu. And using IGN's website as a reference here, the number of costumes that have been confirmed for this game is nearly double the amount of unique characters. Remember that big ol' number of 156 racers? Well, get ready for 2/3 of them to be Vacation Birdo. And I get it, they're gonna do the costumes. Fine. It wasn't like I didn't see it coming with how much tour content came to 8 Deluxe. I personally don't know anybody that likes them, but I don't know a lot of people. But to force me to scroll through 13 pages, Nintendo, I do not want to sift through 90 version of characters playing dress-up to play as the Pianta, okay? I don't think that's unreasonable. Some have said they may have made this decision because they felt having the costumes in a separate menu would devalue them. But I'd argue that having each of them show up as their own space on the roster devalues pretty much every single slot on the roster. Because for one, you can't see the majority of the characters at any given time. Finding the character you want to play as is going to be miserable. And when every new fun character you've added to the game is sat next to Baby Rosalina Winterwear variant on page 4 out of 13, it makes all of them feel cheap and less special. It totally devalues them. And how in the world are you supposed to do this in multiplayer? Look at this. If you want to play as Biddybud, you have to scroll to page 11? What? And not to mention that this is the only unique character in the middle of an entire page of alts? Who thought this was a good idea? Why do 70 plus alts take priority over a new unique character? But speaking of Biddybud, it also bugs me that in addition to all the costumes being separate, that there is such a lack of organization. You'd think that they'd at least put all the unique characters first, and then all of the repeats after, and in the same order. But that's not the case here. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to the way this is organized. It's been pointed out that there is a sort button on the bottom right of the character select screen, but I don't believe we've seen it used yet, so there's no telling if this will fix the issue. I'm very much hoping that there will be an option to have everything displayed on one screen, and to group the repeats, and stay that way unless you change it back. I was thinking to make a mock-up image of this, but Deiji Zaruda on Twitter already made one that does just that. I don't know about you, but this screen gives me so much less anxiety. You can see where everything is, you can easily select a costume if you want. There's a reason that almost every game with a character select screen has some form of this layout. Because this ain't it, people. You'll notice that this mock-up doesn't include every character we know to be in the game. The artist said they did this intentionally because they didn't have the official images from the select screen yet. So these images are how these characters will appear on the select screen in-game. And seeing them all side by side like this will help me illustrate my next problem with the UI. What in the Mario Kart world happened to consistency? Every single Mario Kart game has a uniform presentation of the characters. Different games do slightly different things, but the characters are always consistent with each other. It looks sleek, organized, professional. But this game is all over the frickin' place. Smaller characters have a full body picture, except for Monty Mole, who goes outside the border for some reason. Bigger characters do too, which would make sense if they were going for full body pictures to scale with one another for every character. But then you have the Gorals over here, who for some reason get a waist up pic, along with Waluigi, but not Wario. Mario's in frame, but Luigi's foot isn't. Some are looking at you, some are looking at the sky, some are zoning out, some are standing still, some are mid-movement, some look like they were doing something but just realized somebody was taking a picture of them, and several are standing in poses from renders that have been at the top of Google image search since the late 2000s. All of it just feels totally unfinished, like placeholders. And what is this generic Gaussian blur background? Let me know if I'm crazy here, you guys, but no part of this character select screen is satisfying to my eye. I'm passionate about character select screens because they're usually very satisfying and fun for me. Seeing all the characters in a specific position and stylized in the same way makes them feel official. It makes it fun to make imaginary fan rosters and adds to the coolness factor for me when everything feels like it belongs. And look at the select screen for any past game in the series. Everything feels like it belongs. Funky Kong may have been a crazy pick for Mario Kart Wii, but he feels like he belongs because he looks like he belongs. And it's disappointing that with such a cool roster, the select screen doesn't come close to giving off that feeling. And this is the last thing for the select screen, I promise. I think it's the only thing left to criticize, honestly. But the animations. Again, am I crazy? I do not vibe with the dancing combined with the uncomfortable eye contact. Literally every single one of them makes me uneasy. I can't even explain it, guys. There's just this visceral feeling within me, a sinking feeling in my gut. Everything about this menu hurts my soul. But all of that being said, I want to move on from the negativity a little bit. I want to address what I've seen a lot of people saying about the roster itself. The character select screen is abysmal, but if all these fun new characters that they added were not in this game, I would have been way more disappointed with the costume feature, among other things. But I've seen some people express hatred for this roster, saying that picks like Dolphin or Snowman don't deserve a spot over more recognizable ones. And I completely disagree with this sentiment. The idea of characters deserving or not deserving a spot, that they're taking up room that other characters could be filling, is ridiculous to me. If they want the Koopalings in the game, if they want Diddy Kong or Cappy or Boom Boom playable in this game, they will be. It's not because they were so backed up making animation for the Fishbone that they just ran out of available resources to add Larry Koopa. If anything, wouldn't it be the 90 costumes that they're putting in the game? But I don't think that's what it is at all. I don't think there's a queue of characters in the waiting that these more random picks got bumped up to be above them. They add the characters they think will be fun, and by golly, this game has a fun roster. When have we ever seen such a wacky Mario roster? Isn't this the fun, random weirdness we've been missing from games like the repetitive New Super Mario Bros. Series, or disappointingly empty selections in games like Mario Strikers Battle League? Mario games lately have been bringing back a sense of liveliness and whimsy that we have been missing for nearly a decade. I get having your favorites, everyone has them, and I don't blame you for being disappointed that they didn't make it in and that these characters that probably nobody requested is making it into the game. But rosters like this are how favorites are created. Would people even consider the idea to request King K. Rool for Mario Kart unless they had the gall to include him in Mario Super Sluggers? Funky Kong would never be expected to show up in a Mario game if it weren't for Mario Kart Wii. And mainstays of this series like Birdo would have never come close to being mainstays if it weren't for the weird decision at the time to put her in Mario Tennis. Mario spin-offs have always had oddball picks. Yes, this game has a lot more of them than we're used to, but personally, I see that as a huge positive. After 10 years of the most boring roster in the history of Mario Kart, I couldn't be happier that they are embracing the unconventional for once. Another thing is, I guarantee you that this is not the final roster in this game. There has to be unlocks we haven't seen yet, and there's no way this game isn't getting updates. It's possible they've even intentionally saved some returning favorites for that. So even if your main or your dream pick isn't here, I wouldn't give up hope. But come on, you guys. Even if you don't want to play as a cow, or a Conkdor, or a Cataquack, or a coin coffer, can you at least see the humor in it? To appreciate the willingness to try something new? Seeing some of these characters playable in the trailer for this game and being shocked to the point of just laughing is a feeling I haven't got from a Mario game in years. Characters like Cataquack are so off the wall that I would never even think to ask for it. But now that I see it, I'm like, this is amazing! How did I never think of this? Overall, for the most part, I don't really have any problem with any certain character making it into the game, unless you're talking about Pink Gold Peach and stuff like that, which I'm grateful is not in this game. So I agree with a lot of the characters that people are wanting. Personally, I think the more the merrier when it comes to unique characters, but I think the approach that they're taking in this game is a very fun one. Thanks for listening to my rant. Bye.